Welcome everyone to the Best of Markham Podcast, brought to you by me, Igor Klibanov from fitnesssolutions+.ca. Here with me today is Nabeel Haque from Haque Law. Nabeel, thank you so much for being here. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, well, thanks again for having me. It's an absolute pleasure to be on your podcast and to meet you. Um, my name is Nabeel Haque, and I have my own law firm, Haque Law. I've been practicing as a lawyer for 2 decades in various areas, mainly real estate and business. But over the years, I've also done a little bit of criminal and civil litigation as well.
Mhm.
Basically, I tackle everyday needs, people's everyday legal needs, whether it be buying a home, selling a business, preparing wills or powers of attorney, or bailing people out of trouble, literally.
So you can do it all.
Over the years, I've learned a few tricks, yeah.
Excellent, excellent. How'd you get to be a lawyer?
Well, I was fortunate enough to have inherited my job. So my father was a lawyer,
Yeah,
and when I graduated from law school, I just started articling with him right away, and I joined his practice for the first few years until he graduated. And It was really gratifying for me to be able to spend that time with my dad because growing up he was a workaholic, and so I didn't really see him much, and we really spent a lot of time and bonded in those early years of practice. Like I said before he retired,
yeah,
and after that I just sort of continued on with my own firm, and that's where I've been. That's where I am today.
awesome. And why did you choose law as a career?
Another simple question. So I'm what I call 1.0. Back in my generation, a lot of us just did what our fathers did or our parents did.
Yeah,
And I just looked at my father and I figured it was a natural path
yeah.
to follow in his footsteps. And that's essentially how I came to choose the practice, or maybe the practice chose me.
Yeah.
Just
Bonus
what I knew.
and bonus points if you like it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Awesome. What do you like most about being a lawyer and running your own law firm?
Well, I'd have to say it's definitely the flexibility. Essentially, my only boss is the client,
Yeah.
and other than that, I can set my schedule. I can take time off. I can pick what time of the day I want to work, how long, how little, ramp things up, scale things back, work remotely, which is a big bonus.
Hmm.
That's where the practice of law has finally caught up to, I guess, the rest of the business community, especially since COVID,
Yeah.
because a lot of things that would require a lawyer to be physically present, like being in a courtroom or even just meeting with clients,
Hmm.
have now been, it's now possible to do that remotely.
Yeah.
So a lot of court appearances are remote. Meeting with clients since COVID for most things are is possible remotely. I see only a handful of clients in person in my office anymore. I mean, of course, there's some times when you do want to actually meet with people face to face, new clients, elderly clients, people who
Yeah.
are vulnerable. But for people I already know, steady clients that I've known for years, it's just an added convenience. It cuts down on travel time for clients, and you don't have to wear a suit every day.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. That's the beauty of it.
the secret is very often it's all professional up here and maybe a pair of track pants.
Yeah. Yeah. Be comfortable below the waist.
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely the flexibility for both. That's what I would say is the really great thing about the job. Um, the other part of it is, I guess, being able to help people. Over 20 years, you don't notice changes in yourself as a lawyer, but the job changes you. Each year that goes by, you're more experienced,
Yeah.
and you find that you're more able to assist people off the cuff than you were in your earlier years. So when I first started off, people would ask me for a question. I'd feel guilty answering. Like, I wonder, why are you asking me? What makes me more qualified than
Yeah.
anybody else?
Yeah.
But that disappears, pretty quickly until it's just second nature,
Yeah.
and that's where it is now. So, being able to hear a person's problem, instantly identify what the issue is, and probably have the solution ready, and then being able to bring my skills to bear to be able to solve their problem is very gratifying.
That's why those are two of the most common answers for why people like entrepreneurship, which is one, freedom, and two, the ability to help people in the way they want to help them. And
Yeah.
this absolutely is the same for me. Like when in personal training, largely is shift work. It's early mornings and it's after work. Um, Fortunately, I get to choose who I work with. I prefer to work throughout the day and throughout the evening. So I don't, if somebody wants a 7 a.m. appointment, I'm sorry that I'm just not available. I don't have a boss tell me you have to take that appointment. Um, I have trainers working for me in other time zones. So one of my trainers, he lives in Greece. He does remote training. For him, 7 o'clock in the morning in Toronto, no problem for him. It's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Um, yeah, I mean that one of the beauties of entrepreneurship, the flexibility. You can work as little as we want, or for some entrepreneurs, we work as much as we want. Because for me, I mean, I work 80, 85 hours per week because this is fun. I don't have to, but I want to. There is very few things that I can think of that are more fun than running my business and growing my business. So yeah, I totally get that. Now, I know you mentioned you inherited your law firm, but is there anything specific you do for marketing? How do people find you?
Well, because I had the benefit of working for my father, and he had a steady stream of regular clients,
Yeah,
I didn't really have to hustle for new clientele. I sort of hit the ground running.
yeah,
Um, all I had to do was work on attending to the files and really learning how to, um, I guess, put myself in a client's shoes
yeah,
as far as what their biggest concerns are, which are making sure they're heard, whether the problem is going to be solved, how long, and how much.
yeah,
Because these are the sort of questions I think I'd have if I were to go into a field or have to deal with an industry that I was unfamiliar with but needed.
yeah, yeah,
And which is potentially expensive.
yeah.
Making sure that clients are in a position to understand what I do and that they're a part of the process, I think goes a long way to creating the trust that eventually leads to that word of mouth marketing.
Yeah. Now, are all of your current clients inherited from your father, or have you had any new clients come in since you've inherited the law firm?
Well, so I inherited some of his clients,
Okay.
and they've been around for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
But when I started my own practice and went on my own once he retired, um, it to a certain degree there was a bit of overlap,
Yeah.
but now it's a completely or largely different clientele from what it was before.
Okay.
Still a loyal base,
Yes.
so a lot of the usual suspects or repeat offenders,
Yes.
not literally, but repeat clientele.
Yes.
And uh, so it's just been over the years it's transitioned. The other thing that caused the clientele to change was I changed areas. So my father's office was in Rexdale
Hmm.
for about 20 years,
Yeah.
and we had a loyal base there. And then after I got married, I just wanted to be closer to home, which was in York Region.
Yeah.
And so I relocated to Markham, and it was scary because it meant moving away from people that were used to having me in a particular footprint. So
Yes.
there was a little bit of attrition there. There are some people who didn't follow. There were a lot of people
Yeah.
who did, and then eventually there were new clients that replaced the old,
Okay.
here I am.
And did all the new clients come through word of mouth, or were there other sources as well?
Oh, some were just plain, the occasional walk-ins. Now in Rexdale, there were a lot of walk-ins.
Yeah.
It was a very, very busy area.
Yeah. High foot traffic.
Uh, but the clientele was also fairly transient, meaning that, you'd see them once and maybe never see them again or see them after a long, long time.
Yeah.
Whereas the nature of the business and the clientele now in Markham is
Mhm.
such that, I see people with more frequency, with more regularity, and there's a lot more of a comfort level, especially with doing things online,
Mhm.
which normally would be a little bit more risky if I didn't know anybody or if I didn't know them previously. So yeah, the clients are definitely now completely, I'd say, removed from what they were from when I first started
Gotcha.
the
Gotcha.
transition.
So
Yeah.
some of your clients came from inheriting the firm, some of them came from the word of mouth, and some from walk-ins.
Yeah.
Um, any other sources of new clients, or this covers everything?
Well, no, I started doing speaking engagements, particularly at the franchise show. So I've done two of them this year, and there's been some response from that. So there's there are call-ins that come from that, and other than that, there's the cold calls from either Google reviews or website traffic.
Beautiful. Of your new clients, what percentage would you say come of new clients? How many would you what percentage would you say come from walk-ins versus franchise show versus other sources?
Oh, I'd say the vast majority are from word of mouth.
Okay.
So referrals through other clients or other professionals,
Yeah.
accountants, lawyers, a lot of lawyers. So there are junior lawyers or lawyers that have very specified practices that will refer, for instance, litigation or criminal matters to me or business matters to me
Yeah.
because they don't service those areas. So there's a lot of that. The speaking engagements, particularly at the franchise show, is a relatively new thing.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say that's too big a source at this time.
Yeah.
It might develop into something in the future, but you know how it is. You have to invest time in it, and
Yeah.
before it really starts yielding results. But
Absolutely.
yeah,
Public speaking.
definitely mainly through referrals through professionals and clients.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean that speaks volumes to if you can grow your business exclusively with word of mouth, awesome. If you have other sources, even better. But like you, public speaking has been my first source of new clients. Predictable source. I was getting referrals before that, but it lacked predictability. I wanted to be more deliberate, more proactive with my marketing. So I tested as many strategies as I could, and everything went to an Excel document, tracked, meticulously tracked, how were the results, etc. I had 46 failures before I had my first success, and that's public speaking. Once I figured like cracked the code in public speaking, I did a lot more of it. And one of my favorite ways of generating new business, which is get the speaking gig, get the right audience, get the audience to come in for an assessment, and then get them to buy personal training. Um, and I always say the toughest part isn't delivering the presentation. The toughest part is getting the speaking gig.
Yeah,
Especially if it's not your own audience, if especially if it's a borrowed audience, like in a corporation, in a franchise show, in a conference, and so on.
yeah.
So how'd you get the gig at the franchise show?
I just signed up for it, so
Oh,
there's no real s- secret to it. I mean, you just pay for a booth, and they give you a time slot, and you're on your feet for whatever it is, 6 to 7 hours of the day, and
yeah.
you're just fielding questions,
Oh,
uh,
beautiful.
and that's what that is. Um, so I mean, it is a lot of work, but and I'll be honest with you, when I was growing up, I was always nervous about public speaking. I
Yeah.
didn't like it. But there's nothing like a little bit of exposure therapy. Being forced to perform
Yes.
really brings out the skills you never thought you had.
Yeah.
So it's good to be a little bit uncomfortable sometimes.
I can absolutely relate because naturally, when I first started public speaking, I wanted nothing to do with it. But I also like once I've tasted the freedom of entrepreneurship, I never wanted to go back to working for somebody else. So I said I really don't like the idea of public speaking, but I also don't like the idea of going back to working for somebody else. I hate the latter more than I hate the former. Let me try more of the former. But again, I didn't want to speak to large audiences at first. I just wanted to get my confidence up. So I approached audiences that I thought, listen, if I completely flop in front of them, no big deal. I'm just using I don't really want them as clients. If they turn to clients, great. But if not, no big deal. I don't really want them as clients. I'm just using these as confidence building talks. After doing my first 3 or 4 presentations, like the confidence builders, and I got the nerves out of the way, I started to approach the audiences that I really wanted to go after. The RBCs, the CIBCs, the IBMs, the Qualcomms. So my first 3 or 4 speaking engagements were just confidence builders. The next 40 I really wanted as clients. But the first 40 got me 0 clients, but a lot of newsletter subscribers. So I thought, okay, this is good. It's getting me subscribers, and maybe one day they'll sign up for personal training. But at around the 40th presentation, I thought, okay, I got to do better. I want subscribers and I want immediate clients, not eventual clients. So then I started to treat my public speaking like a real science. Again, everything goes back to an Excel document. So I tried to change just one thing per presentation until I cracked the code on how to use public speaking to predictively get new clients immediately, not eventually. Um,
Yeah.
so my first 40 were not profitable, but the next 400 were much better. Um,
Awesome.
yeah. It's nice to have predictability in your marketing methods. So kudos to you on doing the franchise show. And
Well,
yes,
that sounds great, and I completely agree with you about not being able to work for someone else. I think it sounds like a cliche, but until you experience that sort of
freedom.
freedom,
Yeah.
I don't think you really know what it is. So I agree with you totally. I don't think I could work with for somebody else.
Yeah. That's what kept me going, especially in the first like couple of years when my background is kinesiology. They teach you nothing about business and kinesiology. And I don't fault them for it because most kinesiology grads don't go into entrepreneurship. They go into physiotherapy, being a gym teacher, etc. So I don't fault them for it. But at
Yeah.
the same time, it would have been nice to have those skills, which I didn't have, and that might have actually been a good thing because if I knew how difficult entrepreneurship was going to be, I might have not have done it to begin with.
Yeah.
I had like blind optimism, which in the end was actually a good thing.
Did you find that after your 40th, those challenges that you found about entrepreneurship became second nature?
Not it, I kind of treated it like a game. I didn't think of a huge entrepreneurship as this whole thing is difficult. I just thought I have this one little problem. I just want to solve this one little problem. At first, the problem was just how do I get speaking gigs consistently? Okay, I figured out that problem. Okay, now I'm in front of the audience. Now I'm speaking to them, but they're not converting into clients. They are converting to subscribers, but not clients. So how do I solve this little problem? So I thought of it as a game. I'm like, let me try a few different things and see which one works. Eventually, you try three things, those fail, the fourth one succeeds. And then you're like, okay, this problem has not been solved. I know A, how to get the speaking gigs and what to say at the presentations to get them to come in for an assessment. I got this. Okay, this one, file it away. This is now a predictable system. Next, let me try a new marketing method. At any given time, I have between 3 and 5 marketing experiments running. Most of those are complete failures. However, when a marketing experiment fails, I always go back and I try to have kind of emotional detachment from it and figure out, okay, why did it fail? In marketing, in medicine, there's diagnostics. There's blood, there's MRIs, there's X-rays, etc. There should be diagnostics in marketing as well. Those diagnostics are how many people did I reach? Of those, how many responded? How many converted to either a newsletter or a personal training sale? And at the end of the day, what I call marketing diagnostics they're very, very simple. Unlike medicine, like if somebody comes to their doctor and says, I have a headache, there are so many reasons why somebody could have a headache. The doctor would need to ask a lot of questions to figure out, to narrow it down. Okay, here are the three possible reasons why you might have a headache. Based on these reasons, let's send you out for more tests, either blood tests, saliva tests, urine tests, MRIs, CAT scan, some kind of head scan to figure out what's the one reason you have a headache. Same thing with marketing. Any marketing problem could be diagnosed with one of three things, which is message, market, medium. In other words, did you get the right market? In other words, are the people who are likely to become clients, are these the ones who are speaking to, targeting, etc. And that's both demographics and psychographics. The next is the medium. Are they there where you are? In other words, my target market is people over 50. Okay. So if somebody wants bigger biceps, that's not us. If somebody wants to look like a model, that's not us. But if somebody wants to reverse their diabetes to lower their blood pressure, that's us. We're very, very good at that. And so these folks, the over 50 crowd, they're not on TikTok. Many of our clients are over 70. They're not on Facebook either. They are reading the Globe and Mail. And so if I'm posting really, really good stuff on TikTok, they're never going to see it. Okay. So next is the medium. Are they where you are? Okay. Or more or better said, are you where they are? And finally, the message. Are you saying your offer in a way that's compelling to them? And the analogy that I make is, let's say my favorite food is pizza, especially Little Caesars. Um, but if I go fishing, this is hypothetical because I've never gone fishing. But if I was to go fishing, I wouldn't put Little Caesars pizza on the hook because that's what I like. I would put worms on the hook because that's what fish like. And it's the same thing with marketing. Am I delivering my message in a way that's compelling to my target market, not to me? And so it's very, very simple and straightforward to think about it, ahead of time. But you have these marketing strategies planned. You think it's going to work based on these three criteria. They don't work most of the time, 90+% of the time. When you do a postmortem and you think, okay, why didn't it click? And it usually goes back to one of these three reasons. And then it only becomes obvious in hindsight.
Yeah.
But yeah, in my case, I have way more failures than successes, but successes help pay for the failures and then some. So I have one success out of 25 or so. So that's 24 failures out of 25, 90 something percent, 96% or whatever.
Well, it sounds like you know your stuff, and I got to tell you, I like your idea of diagnostics. I used to tell my articling students that if something were to go wrong, you kind of have to look at it like a crime scene investigation or a plane crash. You
Yeah.
get all the evidence together, put it back together, and see what went wrong, so you can improve from the next time. And
Yes.
that's really what the importance is of learning from mistakes,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is general wisdom these days.
Yeah.
So.
That to me is and besides the freedom and the flexibility, that to me is part of the fun of entrepreneurship, just problem solving, just playing a game of how can I fix this one little problem, not this entire business of how to make 10 million bucks. Just how do I solve this conversion problem?
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. For
What are you
sure.
working on right now that's exciting to you?
Well, there's a bunch of things. I'm assisting one of my clients who's a national franchisor with their expansion in the US,
Awesome.
which is interesting. It's been a long project, and there's regular meetings with US counsel for that. Other things I'm doing are trying to open up new areas in my practice where I think there might be potential. So with the aging population, there's and potential huge transfer of wealth. I think there's a space to provide advice on the efficient transfer of assets and tax deferrals and planning. I get questions regularly on how to transfer things like homes to
Yeah.
kids without incurring land transfer taxes or capital gains or things like that. So
Hmm.
it's fun to sort of see what people's needs are and figure out ways to solve or to cater to those areas. Most exciting on a day-to-day basis is I've got to say is technology. So when I started 20 years ago, technology in law was the personal computer, and that was probably only 10 years in because I think before that was a typewriter.
Yeah.
So now AI especially is just blowing the doors off of everything. It's moving so fast.
Yeah.
When I started with ChatGPT, a friend told me about it, I guess 3 years ago or 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It was a novel toy, but the improvements over the last little while have just been staggering.
Oh yeah.
And it's greatly assisted in my ability to, for instance, digest large volumes of information quickly,
Oh yeah.
summarize documents quickly, find efficiencies for routine tasks, like payroll, administrative stuff, stuff that, is not really the fun part of being your own boss.
Yeah.
And then also adding value to the client experience. So, like I said, that sort of need to want to make clients a part of the transaction by helping them to understand what part they play and what we're trying to accomplish. The AI really goes a long way to summarizing things quickly, providing timely sort of correspondence in easily understandable terms.
Yes.
So it's really great for client communication in the end.
Yeah, yeah, I can totally relate. If before ChatGPT, if a client came to us with some kind of rare medical condition, for us to get up to speed on the condition might have taken about 3 to 7 days of research. Now, although not ChatGPT specifically because it's not great at research, but there are AI structures that are fantastic at research. We can get up to speed on a very rare condition. For example, just before I was speaking with you, I was speaking with a prospective new client who had something called, I've never heard of this before, but cuspid aortic valve. I can get up to speed on that in an hour. And this is not just from random internet stuff. This is from medical journals, and they will translate complicated medical language into not necessarily layman's terms, but at least terms that a personal trainer with a background in anatomy and physiology can understand. And again, this is research based. This is not pseudoscience. This is from medical journals, not from TikTok and YouTube. So yeah, it's really, really sped things up for us as well. And you mentioned one of the other things you're excited about is going into the area of estate law.
Yeah, that's right.
And what's your plan to what's your plan to get more of those clients?
Well, I guess it's well, first of all, I've always done estate planning to varying degrees. So the drafting is the easiest part, preparing wills and powers of attorney, which is simple enough. I mean, if one were so inclined, they could do it on their own.
Yeah,
If they're careful and follow the basics. It's not that complicated. Um, and then I got into the probate aspect of it.
yeah,
But now with the planning, I'm developing relationships with accounting firms and other professionals, tax lawyers, etc., to sort of develop a plan and a skill set so that I'm able to answer more and more sophisticated questions and design more sophisticated instruments for people. That will mean eventually getting into things like estate freezes and living trusts and things beyond just conveyances of real estate,
yeah,
maybe to save on a little bit of the taxes.
yeah,
And
yeah,
it's only going to get bigger.
yeah. Should be an interesting direction.
Yeah, for sure.
And what obstacles have you encountered both in your time as a lawyer as well as an entrepreneur?
Well, there's a bunch of them. In 20 years, I've had everything from cash flow. When I started off, it was mainly a real estate practice, and real estate was great in Toronto. Felt like I started in a strong year, and it just got stronger
Yeah,
every year after that. So real estate was always good, but then it was seasonal.
yeah,
So people don't like moving in the winter, or at least they didn't. So December through February would be very slow,
yeah,
and then we get really, really busy in the summer.
right.
So that was stressful both ways.
Yeah,
Other things were staffing. I think that's always been a problem,
yeah,
which is training and retaining people.
yeah,
I've had a lot of good people work for me over the years that have come and gone. I mean, in the end, um, I want to be able to provide an enriching environment for people to thrive in and
yeah,
help them as much as I can. But certainly, having to train people on a regular basis is one challenge that I think I would want to avoid if possible,
yeah,
simply because of the amount of time it takes to do so. I'm all set up now
yeah,
uh, with a good trustworthy employee. And the occasional articling student that will pass through, and of course the assistance of being able to use technology to get rid of a lot of the more routine things that would require
yeah,
manpower in the past. So we've got a pretty efficient system now. But the main thing that I think has been a challenge with practice and business is just time.
yeah,
Uh, there's never enough time. There's always something to do. Uh,
absolutely.
whether you're busy or not, whether you're making money or not, it's just the demands on your time are always there, fortunately or unfortunately,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
I can,
So I try my best. Now I've got two young kids, twin girls, they're 10,
right.
and I try and enjoy spending time with them as much as possible. I really enjoy our drives to school in the morning,
Yeah.
uh, where I try and chat them up with life lessons in those few minutes, storytelling at night, but spending time with family and is really important. The really good thing is because of technology and the flexibility of being able to work from anywhere in the world where there's a good internet signal, we're able to take off on vacation and work from wherever,
Oh, yeah.
right?
That's
So,
the beauty of it. Yeah. You actually dove very well into my next question of what do you do in your free time? So it sounds like a lot of your free time is occupied by your twins, your twin girls.
well, yeah, that's part of it. I mean, there's a bunch of things more than I thought. Until you asked, I would have thought that I'm just a regular guy, work and home. But um, because of the girls, it's gone into concerns of my health. So now I try and work out, take care of myself more.
Excellent.
So I'm at the gym, like I said, almost every day
Yeah.
trying to build up those biceps, even though I'm over 50. So
That's
I'm one of the exceptions to your rule.
good for
Uh,
you.
But so there's that, and then there's always something to do at home. Like there's a long list of tasks to take care of, and I'm a motorhead, so I've
Yeah,
got a vintage car that I made the mistake of buying a few years ago,
yeah,
and I always wanted it, bought it, and it's been sort of sitting there because I haven't had time to work on it. So I
yeah,
just started that this year.
yeah. New project.
Yeah, so I'm going to get that thing done.
Okay,
And
very
uh,
exciting.
and and the thing that is, I've always been a kind of hands-on guy because I've found that unlike law, where you can extend a lot of effort towards a task and maybe never see a result or not the result the way you necessarily wanted because it's beyond your control,
Yeah,
is at least with doing stuff around the house, working on a car, doing a little bit of carpentry, you hit that nail goes in,
yeah,
right? The instant gratification, there's a result.
yeah,
There's something that you can point at once you're done.
yeah.
So that's what I enjoy doing. So just doing
Very,
stuff around the house, fooling with the kids
yes, yes. Very
and trying to
satisfying.
get some exercise.
Yeah, well, great life. I mean, I always say, I mean, in terms of exercise, frequency often trumps everything else.
Yeah.
Somebody can have the perfect routine, but if they only do it once a week, it's not going to be that effective. Somebody can have a routine only half as good, but if they're doing that like 5, 6 days a week, they're going to get way better results than the person with a perfect program that only does it once a week.
Yeah. No, consistency is not only true in exercise, but also in the practice of law,
Yeah,
right? Whether it's showing up at 9 a.m. every morning, especially when you're early in your practice,
yeah,
calling people back, I find is really important. Personally, it's a pet peeve for me when I call somebody and I either don't get a timely call or I don't get a call back at all.
yep,
I really like it. I strive to pick up the phone as much as possible,
yeah,
or if I can't, to call back right away and
yeah,
be
yeah.
accessible.
It's funny that when the bar is set low, just doing very basic things that you think are just common courtesy, that distinguishes you. For
Yeah,
example, my wife and I, we have a cleaning lady. It's so easy to beat every other cleaning lady. Show up on time because 90% of them are just late and don't apologize for it. They just think of it this is normal. But the one who shows up on time, not even early, just on time, has such a distinct advantage that
for
to
sure.
her, she thinks, well, isn't doesn't everybody show up on time? No, the 90% of them don't. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I totally get it. And since this is, after all, a Best of Markham podcast, what's your favorite business in Markham besides your own?
Unfortunately, it's all going to be food related, man.
What is it?
On the strip of Woodbine where my office is located, there's nothing but restaurants
Oh yeah,
and fast food,
my
which
gym
is
is on
good for me.
Woodbine.
Yeah. So my favorite places around here are new places anyway. Are there's a Jersey Mike's that opened up the street,
I
one
know
of the
Jersey
few in
Mike's.
town.
I went there. Yeah,
And I've been we go down to Florida frequently, or we used to,
yeah,
and I always wanted to go, never made it to Jersey Mike's, and they opened it up here, and now I know what I was missing. Great place. I can't get enough of it.
yeah, yeah,
Another place is there's a couple of shawarma places. There's a family-owned business that's always busy on
yeah,
Highway 7 called Shawarma Stop.
yeah. I know that one.
And they're like their lineup is out the door at lunchtime.
Oh yeah,
And
oh yeah,
they're very generous with their servings, and the family's great, and they're very
yeah,
friendly
yeah.
people. And Shelby's, another shawarma place. That's great. There's tons of places all the way up here. There's no shortage of places to eat.
Oh
And of
yeah.
course, there's my kryptonite, my old stomping grounds, which is the Mandarin, which is right next door to me.
I love Mandarin. Man, that whole plaza where Jersey Mike's is, that is a fantastic plaza. The Mary Brown's, the Chipotle,
Yep.
there used to be a pizza place there before Pizzaville. My wife and I, we used to call it Sears Pizza because their font looked like the Sears font,
Oh,
but
Studio Pizza.
studio pizza,
I
yeah.
know the one. Yeah, that was a cool concept. You as many toppings as you want, and done in like 5 minutes. Yeah,
Man,
great
that's
idea.
one of the best pizzas I've ever had. Then they shut down and replaced by Pizzaville, but fantastic, fantastic place.
Yeah, yeah. What my favorite pizza joint that's a chain and that I can find anywhere is still Pizza Nova. I never get sick of that place.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've only had one bad pizza ever, and that came out of a vending machine, and that was just out of curiosity. I'm like, oh, what's vending machine pizza like? Um,
Are
but
you sure you're in kinesiology? You're experimenting with vending machine pizza?
I'm what you would call a fitness foodie. That was purely out of curiosity because I've never seen a vending machine that dispenses pizza. I was so curious. I'm thinking, let me
Yeah,
just buy one. If it's bad, I'll never have it again. If it's good, I'll have more of it. And it was bad,
yeah,
and I'll never have it again.
yeah,
But
yeah. I
every
think
other
I've had
pizza
a vending machine pizza as well, and I share your sentiment.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
for sure.
Every other pizza place, Pizza Nova, Pizza Hut, all amazing. But to me,
Yeah.
like the king of pizza is Little Caesar. It's just out of this world.
Yeah, no, I love my pizza, and I would always go and grab a slice in New York City. So New York
Of course.
City pizza is one of my favorites. And the thing is, you can get that in Toronto if you know
Yes.
where to look. Like there's a
There's
place called, this is not in Markham, so
yeah,
we're getting out of the territory, but
north of Brooklyn
there's a
Pizza.
couple of places in the city that are really, really good.
There's one place called North of Brooklyn Pizzeria.
That's what I was going to say. That's the one.
Yes, and
Yeah.
they have again not of Markham, but I think they have three or four locations.
They need to come north of Steeles.
Yes.
So there's a lot of good stuff. It was my we had a family celebration yesterday, wife's milestone birthday, and so we went down to the city. And Toronto's got a lot of really great restaurants, and Markham as well.
Oh yeah.
You take it for granted when you live here, but I think if I was to be visiting from another country or another province, I think this would be great,
Oh,
a great
100%.
place to come and hang out in.
I mean, even just Markham alone, we have so much stuff. We have steakhouses, we have Italian, we have Indian, we have Middle Eastern, we have shawarma, we have Chinese, Japanese, Korean,
Yeah,
and
Korean, yeah, Korean fried chicken
yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
exactly. Yeah. And I think they want one of my favorite new fast food places is called Poulet Rouge. Um, a fantastic restaurant out of Quebec. Um, they only have
Where's
really
that?
they're the only Markham location I'm aware of is in Markville Mall, um, in the food court. It's
Yeah,
fantastic.
I've heard of this place. It's like chicken in a box or food,
Yes, they only have two menu
like a
items.
bowl.
Yes, but they do them so well. One is a poutine. Their poutine is out of this world. And I
Yeah,
think what makes it out of this world is because if you go to most poutine places, they have fries at the bottom, then gravy, then cheese curds.
yeah,
And so once you get past the top layer, you just have dry fries.
yeah.
Whereas Poulet Rouge mixes it all in. It's such a simple thing to do, but nobody else does it.
You're the second person who's mentioned that, so now I gotta go.
I highly recommend it. And lastly, how can our viewers and
Yeah.
listeners get in touch with you?
No, that's real easy. I'm at on Woodbine Avenue, just south of the 407. Haque Law Professional Corporation, haquelaw.com is the website. Info at haquelaw.com is the best way to reach me, or 416-743-6302 is my number. That 1-877-2610 law, if that's
Perfect.
easier to remember.
And for anybody listening, if you don't know how Haque is spelled, it's Haque. As well, all of these details will be in the show notes as well, both on Spotify as well as YouTube. Nabeel, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
No, I had a great time, and thanks again for the invite. Pleasure talking to you. Have a
Likewise,
great week.
you too.